Today I'm talking to Victoria. What, please? I hope it's not too hot.
Smells yummy as well.
I'm glad. So, quick fire. Do you have a nickname?
No, but my neighbour's daughter, who, when she was 3 or 4, called me Tor or Tory. I don't answer to Vicky.
Pen or pencil?
Fountain pen.
Spring or autumn?
Oh God, that's a tricky one. Season of mists or budding blooms. Probably, much as I love the autumn, probably spring, because it makes me smile.
Tea or coffee?
Tea, definitely tea.
Lark or night owl?
I have a real burst of energy at night, so probably more of a night owl.
Forest or desert?
They're really, really tough ones. you can't do kind of like black or white. Okay, I'll say desert.
Sweet or savoury?
Savoury.
Abstract or figurative?
Abstract.
Minimalist or maximalist?
Less is more.
And if you are reading anything right now, what are you reading?
Oedipus, Sophocles, adapted by Robert Icke. Homer's The Odyssey, and Francis Bacon interviews.
Perfect. So we're here sitting in your studio. When you walk in, do you put anything on? Do you listen to anything when you're, and if so, what?
When I very often have either music, podcast, or audiobook in the background. Mm-hmm. It shifts more often than not music, which tends to be soundtracks, folk, rock. I love music. My dad was crazy about classical, so we had classical in the house all the time, and I grew up hearing a lot of that, and I love Beethoven. Can listen to any of his 9 symphonies on repeat, quite frankly.
When you walk in here, what's your routine? Do you have a certain set hours that you're here?
My partner, who I share the studio with right now, Sue Yang, she's away for 2.5 weeks. So I'm being in here a bit later than I would if she were here. She likes us to have more of a day routine where we come in, try and get here, I don't know, between 10 and 11 in the morning and leave here about 6ish. But my gears start really warming up about mid-afternoon. So even if we come in about 11ish, I'll still do loads of admin stuff. I'll read, I'll potter around, I might sketch. But I won't actually start painting until after lunch, until about 2ish, 3ish. And then I want to go until maybe 8 or 9. Like the last 3 nights I've been here until 9 o'clock every night. And that kind of works for me. By the time I've cleaned brushes and tidied up and got home, it's about 10ish. And then so long as I get to sleep before midnight and get about 7 hours sleep, that's good. The problem is I have worked until 11, 12, 1 or even 2 a.m. and that can be incredibly productive. But then I get home, I'm absolutely shattered. And then the next day I find I'm a lot less productive because I'm so shattered from the day before. So it kind of one cancels out the other. So I'd rather work until 9, 10 tops, and then be able to do that again the next day and the next day.
Like, having us in the space, me in the space today, is it something quite normal? Do you like having people in the space, or is it usually quite your studio quite a private space that you want to have for yourself?
I'm a very social animal, so I'm quite happy to have people in, but eventually, yes, I need to have the space by myself to work. Yang and I have shared a studio now for years, and we're very comfortable in each other's space, and this room is large enough that we don't kind of disturb each other anyway, in terms of how far apart we are. But it's nice also to have the space to myself.
And when you've got that space to yourself, how do you start on a work? When you look at your work creation, like, what's the starting point once everybody's left, or once you're alone here?
These days it tends to start a lot with sketchbooks, and more often than not, like writing down ideas rather than drawing ideas. I kind of, for example, sorry, I have to get up from the these are the last sketchbooks I filled in completely. I mean, they're full of writings, and very, very simple drawings. I know, what's this, from 17th of July 2024. I wrote, I want to feel like what it feels like to fall in love. I would like to know, if I can close my eyes, can I find the path to where the sun meets the night? If you'll take my hand, can we walk together? And can you lead me astray? And can you watch my life like a movie? And please tell me if it's romantic, a comedy or tragedy. I would like to know. And these notes tend to be the things that fuel why I go to, like, pick up a paintbrush. Like, I don't generally conceive very much of compositions. They're more, it's kind of like an emotional mood board, that gets me to start painting and drawing. And then once stuff has started to appear on the canvas, then I'll come back to the sketchbook and start actually drawing, to figure out elements of the composition. Once I see that something's starting to happen, it's like, okay, before I go too far with this and take it to a place I don't want it to go, I will like sketch down a little on the page, and then I can come back and draw again, and it goes backwards and forwards like that.
Do you ever feel like you get a kind of a painter's block in a sense?
I think I used to get worried about that several years ago. Now, I suppose, I think the more I've read, like, other artists' interviews, or biographies, or watched artists' talks, what I've learned is that, and from my own personal experience of making work, is that there's an ebb and flow. Sometimes I'll have weeks or months where I am literally physically painting every day for most of the day, and then that will, like, quieten down, and I'll be weeks, literally weeks, where I don't pick up a paintbrush. But I'm still thinking, I'm still sketching, I'm still writing, I'm still watching, I'm still listening, I'm still reading. All the wheels are turning in the background. The machine hasn't ground to a halt. It's just that it's just there's a pause in the stuff coming out of the little pipe at the end. But eventually it will start coming out the pipe at the end again. That's something that I think is now kind of easy to trust.
When you're in that zone of creation, do you have the audience in mind at all, or
No,
do you are
not
you?
at all. Never paint thinking about an audience. It's always about what's working for me. My point of view is that the work is a way for me to understand things. It's a tool to explain things to myself, to make sense of things, and the audience only is a part of the conversation later when I've had that one-to-one conversation with the artwork go as far as it can go. Then I say, okay, now's the time for like a third party to come in and join in the conversation and see if how they respond to it, see if they think what I'm thinking as well, or if it's going to be something brand new that I hadn't considered, and so it takes the conversation in a new direction.
When do you feel that a work is finished? Do you have to have those kind of conversations to know, or is it very much within yourself? What's the process?
It's very intuitive. I think, I mean, like, again, coming back to my partner Yang, and she says I'm a very emotional, intuitive painter. It's all heart. It's not kind of logical brain working with me. It's all kind of emotional states.
How have you found that you've been able to navigate the art world? You know,
I think, funnily enough, I've been having a conversation with someone else over the past couple of days through texting, and we've been talking about transition. They are a woman that happens to be transgender as well, and they have embarked on the process of social and physical transition quite recently, and they were introduced to me by a mutual friend since I transitioned about 15 odd years ago. And I suppose aspects of the conversation that she and I are having are very similar to what you just asked now. To give an example, one of the questions that she asked me was, did I have very set goals at the outset when I transitioned, and you know, how have they shifted? And I said, yeah, and I replied that really the goal at the beginning was just to engage with the world fully as a woman. You know, no masks, no barriers, no deceitfulness, and to that end, it's very similar with being an artist. It's just I want to make work, I want to exhibit it. That's very, very simplistic, but that's what it comes down to. but then as you go along, you start finding that, you know, there are different problems and experiences week to week, month to month, year to year, that make you change how you're functioning. It's you start refining and redefining who you are and how you want to move and navigate and walk through this this landscape. Um, and you start having new goals, and you know, things that you know, okay, I definitely don't want to do that again, or I don't like that. That's not how I want to be seen, basically. And so it does shift.
Was there anything that surprised you when you know left art school and you'd finished your masters, and that surprised you in the art world? Anything that you hadn't expected before?
The thing is, before I went to art school, I had already had a rented studio for years, and though I hadn't done any gallery shows, I had done art fairs. There were various fairs where, as an artist, one can, you know, rent a booth and fund it yourself, and you do the whole kind of like art fair weekend for 3 days, taking all your stuff in the van and hoping that people come and buy, and then taking all your stuff home again. And I did that for several years before going to art school. The joy of art school was being surrounded by others who were into the same stuff as I was, who were as passionate as I was, and where I could have, like, I had a family of friends who were like me, basically, which was really, really great, and resources to learn a lot more than I knew before, from, you know, libraries and tutors and classmates. And at the end of the BA, even though I was aware that there were BA graduates that had gone on to have and are having, you know, good art careers, my outlook was that the BA was an opportunity to then do an MA, and the MA was the springboard to I don't know, being seen in the art world.
What would you say to a young artist today coming through? What would you say to them? What word of advice would you give them?
I would say to anyone else coming up, you know, make stuff that you believe in, make stuff that makes sense to you, make stuff that's honest, and then think about how you're going to deal with it commercially. They're two separate things. Art in itself is not really a commercial thing.
If there were any artists that you would love to exhibit with, dead or alive, is there any artist you think that's who I want to exhibit with? It can also just be one artist or two or three.
Goodness, so many. Titian, Goya, and Turner. Goodness gracious! Even picking those three is like, what a crap selection.
I would say so. And if
You
there
know,
was,
when there are so many other, um, you know, I don't know, phenomenal artists to be shown alongside.
well, I think it's good just to pick what, like to just see what comes to the first thing that comes to your head.
Hmm.
And if there was one artist that you wanted to go to dinner with, and just pick their brains, who would it be?
Oh, one artist. Okay, an artist that I would love to have. I would have loved to have been able to have a conversation with, and I know that she used to run like salons and so on. I would have loved to be able to have a conversation. Louise Bourgeois.
Lovely.
Yeah. And alternatively, have a show with her. Hell yes. Incredible work. Monumental.
Looking forward to the future, what hopes do you have for yourself and for your work?
I mean, as much as I make work to have a conversation with it, I suppose. Um, Ultimately, you know, the thing you want with your baby is that it grows up and goes out into the world and has conversations with others. So, you know, the hope is that the work goes further out there, further than I can go.